timing of the Russian attack on Ukraine, the largest attack since the war began, that was deliberate on the part of Vladimir Putin. In spite of having suffered 1 million casualties in a grinding war of attrition.
In recent days, the Ukrainian Air Force has intensified its precision strikes across the front. A key operation saw a Ukrainian warplane destroy a Russian UAV command post in southern Ukraine, disrupting enemy drone coordination in the region. This strike is part of a broader air campaign targeting Russian logistics, command nodes, and air defenses. Ukrainian aircraft, often operating at low altitude and using Western-guided munitions, continue to bypass Russian radar and hit high-value positions. These persistent attacks are not only degrading Russian capabilities, but also showcasing Ukraine's growing effectiveness in joint air-ground operations. SBU military counterintelligence has taken out 97 units of Russian heavy weapons in recent months, including tanks, howitzers, radar, electronic warfare systems, 159 drones, Zala, Orlan, Supercam, 239 fortifications, 61 vehicles, 10 depots, and more. Ukraine's SBU military counterintelligence is playing a critical role in drone warfare, conducting covert, high-impact operations deep behind enemy lines. Using small, fast, and precise FPV drones, SBU teams target Russian command posts, radar systems, and electronic warfare units with pinpoint accuracy. These elite operators often work in coordination with local informants and satellite intelligence to locate high-value targets. Their drone strikes are silent, sudden, and devastating, crippling enemy leadership and disrupting command chains. This decentralized, mobile approach gives Ukraine a strategic edge, allowing the SBU to strike where Russian forces feel most secure and disappear without a trace. The Russians claim that Ukraine uses heavy drones to place FPVs behind their lines. Ukrainian special operators or even partisans then receive the FPVs and turn them on, allowing missions deeper into the Russian rear. The Russians report that Ukrainian VTOL mothership UAVs are carrying FPVs 50 to 60 kilometers into the Russian rear. The UAV acts as a radio repeater while the FPVs attack unsuspecting targets, typically without electronic warfare protection so far behind the line. The FPVs can be delivered to areas where Russian convoys pass. When information appears that a convoy has left, local residents turn on the drones. When the convoy approaches the FPV installation site on the ground, the convoy is attacked. Medvedev is back on another vodka-fueled rant, this time threatening NATO chief Mark Rutte with future imprisonment in a Siberian camp. All because Rutte warned that Russia might try to invade Europe if China attacks Taiwan. Rutte has clearly gorged on too many of the magic mushrooms beloved by the Dutch. He sees collusion between China and Russia over Taiwan, and then a Russian attack on Europe. But he's right about one thing: he should learn Russian. It might come in handy in a Siberian camp. Russia launched a massive drone attack on Kremenchuk, Poltava region, early this morning. Local media report explosions, direct hits, and smoke. Overnight, Russian drones also targeted Mykolaiv, damaging port infrastructure, warehouses, and power lines. In the morning around 9:35, Russia carried out a drone strike on Kremenchuk, Poltava region. Drones hit the building of the Kremenchuk District Military Enlistment Office and a nearby residential building, according to Ukraine's ground forces. Preliminary reports say there are no casualties among military personnel or TCC staff. Emergency services are on site. Former CIA officer Dan Hoffman said on Fox News that the massive strike on Kyiv right after Putin's call with Trump was no coincidence. Putin wants to show strength. The U.S. must expose his bluff, boost support for Ukraine, increase sanctions, and provide all necessary weapons.
Timing of the Russian attack on Ukraine, the largest attack since the war began, that was deliberate on the part of Vladimir Putin. In spite of having suffered 1 million casualties in a grinding war of attrition, Putin continues relentlessly to be focused on trying to topple the government in Ukraine and installing a puppet regime. But simultaneously, he's also engaged in a war against the United States. U.S. leadership, for sure, is on the line, and Vladimir Putin wants to show that his dictatorship, his allies, China and North Korea and Iran, are stronger than the United States. And that's where I think the President Trump needs to call Putin's bluff. And we need to do all that we can to support Ukraine. We're not talking about regime change in the Middle East or boots on the ground. We're just talking about being the arsenal for democracy and supporting a free country that wants to stay that way. So what do we need to do, I think, is consider the sanctions against Russia that Senator Lindsey Graham is a strong proponent of, but also get Ukraine the military assistance that they need, revive the U.S. Military-industrial base so that we can be strong and defend Ukraine and be prepared to project force when needed in the Pacific and other places.
Amidst the ongoing conflict between Russia and Azerbaijan, Russian propagandist Mardan stated that Azerbaijan never existed, the same kind of rhetoric that Russia uses regarding Ukraine.
Honestly, when I came across such a statement in Azerbaijani sources, I think, well, maybe I'm really missing something. I don't know the region's history well. So I went and looked to see where the history of the Great Azerbaijan, which was interrupted by the military intervention of the Russian Empire, was. I didn't find anything. There was no Azerbaijan, and even in general, such an ethnicity as Azerbaijanis there as I couldn't find. That is this ethnic group, which we now know as Azerbaijanis. With all due respect, it seems the Soviet regime also invented.
The government of Portugal has officially approved a decision to support Ukrainian pilots and provide critical intelligence assistance. According to an announcement on the government's official website, Portugal will allocate 21.45 million euros in aid. This support will help train and equip personnel from Ukraine's Air Force as part of the international F-16 coalition, and will also provide Ukraine with valuable satellite-based intelligence. Thus, the country has allocated 954,000 euros specifically for the training of Ukrainian F-16 fighter jet pilots as part of the International F-16 Air Force Capability Coalition, which operates under the Ukraine Defense Contact Group, UDCG, and is responsible for enhancing the capabilities of Ukraine's Air Force. Separately, 20.5 million euros will be allocated to provide Ukraine's defense forces with satellite imagery, including optical satellite images and synthetic aperture radar, SAR data. It's worth noting that Ukraine and Portugal have signed a bilateral security agreement that outlines cooperation in areas such as military training, arms transfers, intelligence sharing, technical assistance, and countering hostile propaganda. Portugal has also supplied Ukraine with a significant amount of weaponry, including Leopard 2 A6 tanks, SA-330 Puma and Ka-32 helicopters, M113 armored personnel carriers, mortars, and artillery systems. Additionally, Portugal has joined European initiatives for the production of ammunition and drones. Beyond technical assistance, Portugal is actively involved in training Ukrainian soldiers as part of EU training missions, particularly EUMAMUA. Portuguese instructors participate in training sessions in Spain and Germany, sharing expertise in areas such as tactical medicine, combat training, and protection against chemical and biological threats. Moreover, Portugal's role in the F-16 coalition will become even more significant, as Norway has decided to relocate the training program for Ukrainian pilots on F-16 fighter jets from Denmark to Portugal. Although Portugal does not plan to transfer its own F-16s to Ukraine due to a limited fleet of aircraft and uncertainty regarding the acquisition of their replacements, the country will provide the necessary infrastructure and environment for Ukrainian personnel to learn the specifics of F-16 operations. Militarny previously reported that Portugal may send its military personnel to Ukraine as part of a European peacekeeping mission. Nuno Melo, Portugal's Minister of Defense, discussed this possibility. However, he noted that this could only happen under the condition of a ceasefire between the parties.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you want to support Warthog Defense, please become our member and get early access to new videos, exclusive members-only videos, and become administrator in comment section. The membership link is in the description.
He had 6 rescues in 6 days. You know, he's doing the job every day.